Hello everyone, Steven here from Radolescence, and welcome back to another fragrance review. Please don't forget to subscribe by clicking the link down below. This time we'll be taking a look at the newest installment of the Guilty fragrance, and this one is by Gucci and it's called Gucci Guilty Black. So here's the bottle. I believe it was released in February of 2013. I don't know who the perfumer is, but I do know that the creative director for the company is Frida Giannini. Now with this fragrance, it is a flanker. So if you are looking to purchase this fragrance, just please take note of that. Of course, there's the original Gucci Guilty, then they came out with an intense version, then they came out with a studded version, I think, of the original, and now they have Gucci Guilty Black. Even though it isn't a green bottle, just know that if this is the one that you wish to purchase from the line, make sure that it says black on the box or on the label. So this is a green bottle, the women's version is in a red bottle, and they were kind of going with the whole Italian heritage theme, made in Italy, so of course the colors representing the Italian flag and whatnot. Now as far as this fragrance goes, it is a brighter, more energetic version of the original. I think it has green notes, it has spices like green coriander, some other herbs in there with cedarwood and lavender, classifying it into the fougere genre. Now I don't entirely agree with that, and I'll tell you what I mean in just a bit. So they were going with a theme of dynamism, power, energy, and they wanted to make a more robust and a more intense version of the original, despite the fact that they already have an intense version named Gucci Guilty Intense. So I'm going to let you know if I do think it's an amped up version of the original. Next up, let's take a look at the presentation. So on the Gucci Guilty box, some people say that the entwined G's here in the front, the iconic insignia of the brand, kind of looks like a busted or a bootleg Batman symbol. I kind of see that, but you know, again, I think Gucci has had this logo for a long time now, although it does not have the diamante pattern on the box as it does in Gucci's made to measure. So that's it. You do have this black stripe, an illustrious finish, some information at the back, QPC serial code at the bottom. That's pretty much it. As far as the bottle goes, I think it looks pretty cool. I don't love it, I don't hate it, I'm kind of ambivalent about it. You have the same logo insignia here in the front, you have the green top, as you can tell by the level in the bottle. I am running kind of low, about halfway done with it. You also have the same thing going on either side, and then some information at the bottom, which should coincide with the ones found on the bottom of the box. You have Gucci engraved into the cap here. The cap comes off. The atomizer gives you a good distribution, not the best, but it gets the job done, and that has pretty much been the presentation for Gucci Guilty Black. First thing that I want to mention is that the green bottle will actually represent what you're going to get from the smell of this fragrance. It opens up very clean, green, fresh, crisp, energetic, and it has a very attractive appeal to it. I want to start off by saying that this is one of my most complimented fragrances. So even if somebody does not like the smell of this fragrance, you have to give it to them for that. This is one that is going to do particularly well with the ladies, and this is a crowd pleaser, this is an intention getter, and this is a compliment receiver. This is a fragrance that will give you an overwhelming amount of positive attention whenever you wear it in public. There have only been a couple of times when I wore this in public and someone did not approach me to compliment me on how I smelled. So with that out of the way, I do want to get into saying that this is not necessarily the most inspiring blend of notes. Even though I think the blend of notes is actually pretty good, I think the quality can be a lot better. It opens up in a very nice introduction. You have some green spices, you have some coriander, some herbs in there, could be basil or oregano. It's just classified as green notes, whatever that happens to be. It has this cedarwood dry down that's iconic of the Guilty fragrances. I do think it has somewhat of a manufactured smell to it, but it does smell very crisp and green and fresh and refreshing and energetic, and it even has a very youthful and contemporary appeal to it, which I think it is going to appeal to a wide range of audiences who happen to get their nose on this fragrance. So I think it smells great, but again, in the dry down, it leaves a lot to be imagined. With this fragrance, I think it's a classic example of you going to like a department store like Macy's or Sephora, and you smell it on the test strip and it smells great, it smells amazing, but that's because of the top notes. And being that the top notes are so volatile, they will evaporate and etherealize quite quickly, and then what you're left with is this dry down that does leave a lot to the imagination. So I think that this fragrance really exceeds and does its best best in the top and middle notes, but once you get to the dry down, you have that cedar wood and lavender feel that might not be the, best or most inspiring thing for your nose. Now, this does contain lavender and it is classified as an aromatic fougere. Now, I don't necessarily think that this is a fougere. Because it contains lavender, that's the only reason why it would fall into that category, but usually when I think of fougères or lavender-based fragrances, I think of fragrances that would be called like barbershop type fragrances, Wild Country by Avon, or what else, 1725 by Histoire de Parfum Casanova. Those are all really prominent lavender-based compositions. This one, I think lavender works more as in a subtle way, and it's more of an accent note rather than it being the star player of the composition. But I do like what the lavender brings into the table, and I think it gives it a classic masculine characteristic, all the while not becoming a dated fragrance. So it's a great fragrance. If you want to smell good, if you want to get positive attention, this is it. But if you want to challenge yourself a little bit, you want to wear something different, you want to stand out from the crowd, you might want to look elsewhere. There are plenty other fresh, green, unique fragrances out there. A few that come to mind are the Un Jardin series by Hermes, or even some of the other fragrances by Hermes that are not part of that series. So again, thanks for watching. Last up, we have the rating. Take care. First up, we have uniqueness and overall smell, and I ended up giving this fragrance a 5 out of 10. Now, I do like the smell. I don't think it's the most unique or inspiring blend of notes, but because it does so well with other people, I think that it has very practical and pragmatic usage. I think that this is a fragrance that I would feel so comfortable wearing in public, and as you can tell, and as is determined by the level of the juice in my bottle, I wear this one a lot, particularly to work because of how well it does and how inoffensive it is and how many compliments I get from it. But again, it's not going to be the most inspiring or creative blend of notes, and the quality of said notes isn't of that high standard that I would hold to of many fragrances, especially ones that have been released recently in the designer genre. I think this one could have been a lot better. So next up we have projection, or longevity, I'm sorry. I ended up giving it a 6 out of 10. It is an eau de toilette, 4 to 6 hours is expected. This one performs above average, but then again, it's still only 6 hours that I get from it, so I ended up giving it a 6 out of 10. Next up we have projection, also a 6 out of 10. Projection is very good. It does project within an arm's length for the first couple of hours, especially while those top and middle notes are quite present. After they begin to evaporate, and because of their versatility, they recede into the background, you really don't get them as much, even though that synthetic cedar wood dry down does linger along with the lavender. But when the neroli fades and the orange blossom fades, you really aren't left with much else. And those green notes like the coriander in the opening that are really, really cool and they smell great, they do evaporate, unfortunately. So the projection, even though it still does project into the second hour, I don't think it's as appealing as it is in the first half hour or the first hour. Next up we have versatility. I ended up giving this one a 9 out of 10. Versatility for this one is spectacular, despite the fact that I do think it has some classic masculine characteristics like the lavender and the spices. So I wouldn't say it's a unisex fragrance, but of course wear what you want, wear what makes you happy, just a recommendation. Now as far as seasons, I think this would work well in all seasons. You do have that heavier cedarwood base that I think would work well in the colder weather, and then you also do have the volatile green, crisp, citrus, and aromatic notes that I think would work very well in the summer. In terms of occasions, you can wear this casually because of the price. You can wear it on a night out because of how good it smells and how much positive attention you're going to get from it. You can also wear this one dressed up, suit and tie, shirt and tie, tuxedo. I think it would work really well in all occasions. And lastly, we have the presentation. Of course, they did away with the Gucci Diamante pattern. They kind of went with a more traditional heritage influence thing with the green and the red. Some people say the entwined G's kind of look like a cheesy Batman symbol. Honestly, I think the presentation is okay. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Atomizers to my liking. Cap clicks into place very securely. Overall, I'm going to give this fragrance a 5 out of 10. I think it's a nice fragrance. I think the smell is very nice. It's inoffensive. It's not unique. It's not the best blend of notes, but it has very practical and pragmatic uses. And the compliments that you're going to get from this fragrance may very, very far outweigh or supersede all of those other things. So all those things that are compromised, I think they're compromised for a good reason. But again, to each his own. It's not my favorite fragrance, but I love the attention that I get from it. So there you have it. That was my review of Gucci Guilty Black. If you own or have tried this fragrance, please let me know what you think by leaving a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to rate and subscribe for future videos and frequent giveaways. Again, thank you so much for watching. This has been Steven with another fragrance review from Radolescence. See you soon.